I am paging Dr. Chanda.
I am the
Dr. Chanda.
And I'm a licensed clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Paging Dr. Chanda podcast, all things related to the Black culture.
Revolt. The doctor in front of your name.
What's up, family? It is Dr. Chanda. Tune in for another episode of Paging Dr. Chanda. All you have to do is keep watching. But listen, if you're just watching from the outside, just peeking through the window, I need you to commit. Come all the way in the house, and I need you to subscribe, like, and shoot me a comment in the comment section. I love responding to all of your comments. I love listening and reading how much you guys enjoy the topics that I'm talking about. So yeah, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and join the tribe.
Stop scrolling for 1 second. This month, we are bringing back the psychology of Black women, the online class brought to you by yours truly, Dr. Chanda, licensed clinical psychologist. Y'all, I've been getting so many questions about why anxiety and depression presents differently in Black women. What do we do about it? How can we start to combat this? And what are some of the reasonings behind it? Listen, if you are a Black woman who has questions about anxiety and depression, it's something you experience or something your loved ones experience, or if you're a professional who works with Black women who experience anxiety and depression, I promise you this class is for you. Make sure that you sign up today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You are now tuned in to the Paging Dr. Chanda show, where you can listen on all audio platforms, and we can now stream on Revolt, Hulu, Tubi, and Fox Soul. So many different areas for you guys to get free knowledge, free education. And like I said last week, this week or this month, we are talking about suicide prevention and awareness. So this week I have none other than the ladies of Black People Die by Suicide 2. I know that name got y'all, it caught you off guard a little bit, but I'm gonna just say it again. Black People Die by Suicide 2. And it's time for us to have these conversations. Welcome, lady, to the couch. Of course.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, Dr. Chanda. You know you are a favorite.
No, I
of
appreciate
ours,
y'all.
okay?
Like, the work that y'all are doing is literally amazing. And I really feel like, us meeting at the airport randomly that day was just such a divine connection that nobody could have created. So
Right.
tell the audience about yourselves, what you guys have going on. And yeah, we'll start there. Tell us about yourselves.
Jordan,
Well,
you want to go?
sure, I will start.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Scott. I am the co-founder of Black People Die by Suicide 2. We are a relatively new nonprofit,
Amazing.
just a little over a year. And our mission is to normalize the conversation about suicide in the Black community, provide resources to individuals who are struggling, are looking for connection, and most importantly, provide hope to people who would otherwise feel that suicide is the only way out. Yes, our name is very intentional. It is meant to catch your attention and send a message. Black people, it is time for us
Yes.
to
No,
address
look in the
our
camera when you say
pains,
it. Look
our
in the camera when
hurts.
you say it.
No longer, look, it is time for us to address our pain and take care of ourselves and our mental wellness. It's so important. I know we're such a strong and resilient people, but I don't want you to feel like you can't get help because of that, because there is
Period.
help
I'm here
out
for
here.
I am. Yes, Jordan, I don't even know if I need to add anything to that. I am Takia, co-founder and executive director of Black People Die by Suicide 2, person with lived experience. So I am a suicide attempt survivor. I, wow, it's been 9 years since my suicide attempt, and I celebrate every year like I call it my renewed resilience day.
Wow.
The day that God gave me a second chance. And so that is really important to me, because I'm a person who has struggled with suicidal thoughts since middle school. And now I'm in my 30s, and I find that me and Jordan found that people really weren't talking about suicide, which is what led us to co-founding the organization. Everyone's talking about self-care, wellness, and don't get me wrong,
Yes.
depression and anxiety, they get a lot of attention, and I was like, but we not really we just not talking about suicide, and you can't omit
Yeah.
suicide from the mental health conversation. And I also lost my 13-year-old cousin to suicide, and then looking at the numbers and seeing that the rates are increasing, I feel like it was needed. And initially, we started just as a podcast, and everyone kept referring to the podcast as an organization, and we're like, we're not that. And so I'm like, Jordan, I think this thing has legs, and it's so much more. The podcast can be an educational tool or resource, and it's really a movement for us. And so we are so blessed and fortunate, and I'm so happy to do this with Jordan because she and I met in a psychiatric
Y'all,
program at a
yes,
hospital. So
yes, it's a very
yeah,
unique
that's our story.
story, and I can't wait to get into it. But I definitely want to say, like, you ladies are, like I said, y'all are doing the work, and it's amazing. It's surprising to hear that it's only a year old. I could have sworn y'all just been around for a minute now because of how much y'all do. Like, y'all are literally in the community doing this work. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Takia. She is the brains behind this operation, y'all. Like,
That's not all the way true, Jordan, but okay.
the branding,
Yes.
all of that is Takia's magical touch. So we look a lot more established than we are thanks to
Mm-hmm.
her expertise. But no, seriously, we were founded in
Wow.
June of 2023.
Yes.
So we're still babies out
And it just
here.
speaks to the need
Right.
for the program,
Yes.
the fact that y'all are able to be involved in so many different things. Y'all have an event coming up. I definitely want to get to that near the ending of the conversation. But since y'all had already talked about it, like, how did y'all meet? How did this collaboration come together?
Jordan, you could tell it.
Yes. So Takia and I, as she mentioned, she has lived experience with mental health and suicidal ideation, a suicide attempt. Myself as well. I've been hospitalized quite a few times for suicidal ideation. And this particular time, back in 2018, we were both in a partial hospitalization program together, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a form of hospitalization where you're not in the hospital, like locked down, residential 24 hours a day. You would kind of report to the hospital like you would a job, maybe from 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, go home around 3, 4 in the evening. You're engaged in your treatment during that time. You'll meet with like a social worker, you'll do group counseling, all different types of activities, art, etc. And then you're able to go home in the evening time and take care of your regular responsibilities. And normally this is Monday through Friday. So that's where we actually met. It was my last day in the program, funny enough, and
Wow.
Takia's first day in the program. And so we had group. And I think around lunchtime, we started talking, and she was like, I got to get Jordan's number. And so we exchanged numbers, and we've been friends ever since. It's
Wow.
been 6 years going strong. 6 years. August
Wow.
we met.
So,
Yes,
Right.
August
you ladies met,
2018.
and
Yes.
the conception of this entire thing started when you both were at a low point, like you were struggling at the time. Okay.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So yes, and I would say so. Before we founded the organization, Jordan and I have been great supports to each other, and so since that time, that was 2018. I still have, not currently, but I still have had moments in my life where I've struggled with suicidal ideation. I haven't attempted since 2016, but Jordan has often been the person that I would call just to talk. I'm like, "Hey, I don't have a plan, but I just need to get these thoughts out because there are friends that I can't go to. They
Yeah.
would just freak out like, I need to call the cops. I need to."
Yeah.
I'm like, I just said I need to talk about it. I didn't say I had a plan. I didn't say I had the means. I didn't say I had intent. I didn't say any of that. I just said I need to get the thoughts out. So Jordan has been that person for me, or that safe space where I don't have to worry about the police being called. I don't have to worry about somebody freaking out. I have a friend that I'm thinking about right now. Child, she would lose her everlasting mind. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I could go to you for other stuff, but I
Yeah.
can't go for you to you for that. And so that's a lot of our private conversations. I was like, Jordan, if we started a podcast, we can make these private conversations public because talking about suicide between me and Jordan is very normal.
Amazing.
And so that's really what
Yeah,
we're
that's
working
amazing
to
that
do
y'all
within our
normalized it. Like
organization.
it's not a taboo topic, because there is a stigma associated with suicide, especially amongst us, like the melanated folk. Like it is what it is.
Right.
And I wonder, like,
Mhm.
what made you
Yup.
guys choose the name Black People Die by Suicide too? Like what's it's very intentional. So like what yeah, what tell me about that.
Go ahead, Kia. This was Kia's brain baby.
I can't take all the credit. I got to give some credit to God, right? Because when we were brainstorming ideas for the podcast and what to call it, it's like the name just dropped in my spirit because we always are taught that's a white thing. I've heard growing up when white people lose all their money, they want to kill themselves, and that's not something that Black people do. And so I remember we were driving to lunch, and I was driving. Jordan was one of us was driving, and I'm like, Jordan, Black people die
That
by suicide too. And she's like, that's
isn't that amazing how it
it.
happens? Like literally
It's
God will just like
very,
drop a name in your spirit and it's like, all right, yeah,
Yes,
I
yeah.
love it.
yes.
It's definitely a name to get,
I
like,
need a
we wear
shirt.
our shirts out sometimes and people will do like a double take. Like, what is
Yes.
it? Oh, we will
Oh,
send you one.
we'll
Okay.
send us your office or wherever address. We'll get
Yes.
you a shirt.
We'll
Yes.
get you a shirt. People are like, Black people do what? I'm like, yeah, read it again because this is a real thing. So many of
Yes.
us are struggling with, especially struggling in silence. No one knows about it because we
Mhm.
are pressured to put on the front to always be strong, always keep it pushing. Don't let things bother you like water off a duck's back. And it's just not realistic. We don't have to have this superhuman ability to
Yeah.
just like dodge all the bullets. Sometimes like we need to sit down and process our own pain and our own hurt. So it's important that we get the message out that it's okay to be vulnerable
Absolutely.
and it's
And
okay to seek
I'm
help.
sorry, go ahead, Takia.
No, I don't know if y'all can't see it. I don't know why I'm tearing up,
Okay.
but I'm having a moment. And I don't
No,
know
we
why.
cried the last time, so
Look,
this is
Mom,
great.
I'm
This is
crying over
great.
here. Yeah, I don't know. I know. Jordan
We
cried the
did.
last time.
Yes.
Look, one cry, we all crying. We gonna all cry
I
today.
don't know why. I know, right. I know, right. I wasn't going to say
Yeah.
anything. I think I'm just processing and just like, wow, all that has happened, that has transpired since we started the organization. Just growing the organization, but then also me and Jordan, like our friendship has grown too and been
Yeah.
tested. So it's been a journey.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love
overall,
how
very
y'all
grateful.
even mention like, these conversations that we have amongst ourselves about suicide, like we've normalized this. And we want the community to be able to experience this too. I remember the last time we spoke about a year ago, you ladies were talking about how it wasn't always like that because you had personal struggles that you were experiencing. At one point you were ignoring, and that's what kind of like led y'all to the hospital. Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my mental health journey, I definitely dealt with a lot of things on my own in terms
Mhm.
of not being comfortable going to like my family or my friends at the time to talk about my mental health because I come from a family
Yeah.
where that's not a real thing. Like, girl, did you pray about it? Did you go to church? Like, what is the problem? You need to dust yourself off and keep it pushing. And for some reason, like, I would blame myself trying to understand why I wasn't as strong as everyone else and why I couldn't, I guess, put on a front like everyone else in my family seems to do so well. But I realized that I had a lot of trauma in my past that I just wasn't going to be able to hold on to any longer. And to be honest with you, it was not something I was looking to get into, like mental health treatment. It really just happened. It got to a point, I was in Atlanta for school, and it just started to come out. The mask had completely slipped, broken
Yeah.
off. I had to go get help, to the point where I was involuntarily committed to the hospital, because I was having suicidal thoughts and I was struggling so much with my mental health. And no one knew about it. No one knew about it. I didn't say anything. I've talked to my family about feeling sad in the past, but again, it
Yeah.
was like, girl, go to church. You'll be all right. Ain't nothing wrong with you. So we kind of have that, again, pressure to hold stuff in. And I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. Like, I'm not, when I say I am encouraging people to get help, I am not telling anyone to do anything that I haven't done, that Takia hasn't done. At the time of this recording, y'all, I just graduated from a hospital program today. Like, I did the whole gamut, the whole run. Earlier this year, I was experiencing some horrible suicidal thoughts. This is probably the lowest I've been since 2015. Like, it's been an extremely rough year for me. And in June, I went inpatient for 3 days. So I did it inpatient stay, 72-hour hold. And then I stepped down to a partial hospitalization program, again, like the one Takia and I met at. And then I just left from the intensive outpatient, which is the same thing as partial hospitalization, just cut in half. So you have like half days. Maybe you're only going 3 days a week, something like that. And I just graduated today. Like, I'm not telling you to do anything
Yeah.
that I haven't personally done myself. And I say that and quote unquote put my business out there, because I want people to know this is real for Takia and I. Like, we're not just talking this to be talking this. Like, we're walking this. This is something that we have both experienced, lived through, ups, downs, periods of remission, periods of relapse with our mental health. You don't have to do this alone. There are resources out here that can help you get better. And I can honestly say,
Mhm.
I feel a weight
I think you bring
lifted,
up a
which I'm
great
really
point
happy
about
about.
how when we make the decision to get help, whether we're at our lowest point or we just don't feel ourselves, when we do get the help, that's when we can experience that relief, that, as you stated, the weight lifting off of us. So the shame and the stigma, it's just not worth it. Keeping everything to ourselves. So I'm happy that you shared that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know
Your
what to add to
experience.
that.
What led you
I'm yeah. So as I mentioned, I started struggling with suicidal
to
thoughts around 11. I was in middle school. Fast forward to graduate school, and at that time, I felt like my childhood trauma and then the challenges of being a young adult ish, because I was like 24, I guess, at the time. So I feel like my present and then like trying to get through graduate school and then trying to be an adult in trauma. I feel like the past and the present were just colliding and it was like too much. And so I said, I want out. I never told anyone that I was experiencing the thoughts, but I said indirect things to people. And at the time when I wind up going into the hospital, I was much more direct to a friend, and I had said like, "Oh, I wish I wasn't here anymore." And I did attempt, and it just so happened that the police officers came to the house in time. And when I got to the hospital, they just pretty much told me like, "We're going to commit you, or you can commit yourself." And that was the moment where, and I remember saying during that time, like, I'm, I'm very goal oriented and driven. So I'm like, I went to Howard and I went to Georgetown. I remember it. I don't know if she was like the clinical director over the inpatient unit, but I remember I was talking to her. I was going in, right? I was like, and I just finished working Black Girls Rock, and I blah, blah, like just going in. And she was looking at me like, okay. And I'm like, people like me, we don't come here. And she said, well, ma'am, you are here because your brain is sick. Just like if you had issues with your heart, you would have to see the cardiologist. And you haven't been doing a great job of taking care of your brain or your mental health. So that's why you're here. You're here to get better, but you're sick.
Wow.
And I remember it to this day. And God bless that lady, wherever she is. But that's the moment where I started realizing like I had to do the work. I had to do the work. And to this day, I am so grateful. And it brings me to tears because in September, I've been in therapy for a very, very long time, but I've been with the same therapist. In September will be 9 years. Shout out to Dr. T. And I remember telling her yesterday when I had therapy, like, I can't believe the transformation of where I was 9 years ago until now. It is so mind blowing. I'm a completely different person. And I just told my therapist, I'm like, I'm so proud of my growth. And she's like, I know you always say I'm a great therapist. She's like, but you actually do the work, Takia. She's like, you're one of the few clients that you actually do your work. And I just told her I'm so very proud, and I just can't believe the transformation. That doesn't mean that I don't still have my moments, but I feel like a new person, and it feels really good. I always say that no matter how many degrees or certifications I have doing my own work, my healing has been, I'm my hardest research project.
Period.
I am a dissertation, my life, okay? Trying to figure it out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a journey, and yeah, so that's kind of what kind of led me to making that transition as it relates to not just the field, but like Jordan mentioned, like we are really doing the work. We're really encouraging and telling people like we haven't arrived, if you will. A lot of times when people may be talking about mental health, they coming from a place of when I was this, when I was, it's like, okay, but we're
Yes.
individuals who live with chronic mental health conditions. Bipolar disorder is not just, I'm just not going to wake up and it's not going to be there. Like it don't quite work like that. And so I'm just overall really grateful. And it shows that you can have a mental health diagnosis or multiple, and you can still thrive and live a very
Exactly.
healthy life, but
Exactly.
you have to
Both
be
of you
intentional
ladies
about it.
highlight how Black women specifically, like when we are experiencing emotional distress, we tend to exert more effort in our careers and our goals. Like, I'm just going to outwork this and then I'm just going to ignore it. But and that's when we say like, I went to Howard. I'm a
Mhm.
doctor. I don't belong in this hospital. Like we say those types of things. So as you ladies are kind of like walking through your healing journey, because it is a journey, what helps you to continue to prioritize your overall mental health and to recognize if you are getting back into that place of suicidal ideation?
Mm. I think for me, it's realizing that yes, I can sit here and be in denial and neglect um, taking care of myself, but I
Mhm.
can't fulfill my role in doing that. Like, I'm not going to be effective at helping other people being that way. And Black people die by suicide too, like, really motivates me so much to take care of myself because I have this just deep seated need to help other people. I've always been like that. I've always done some type of job in the helping professions. And I tell people, like in our support groups all the time, yes, we host the support group and we're so glad that people come, but I get just as much from our participants than they get from us. Like, I look forward to these things too. It's so important that I'm taking care of myself because I want to help other people, and
Absolutely.
it's so hard to do that when I'm not well. And that usually is a pretty good motivator for me to, okay, Jordan, like if you're feeling bad, like you might want to
Mhm.
consider pursuing a higher level of care, like hospitalization. I do keep I always have a therapist usually that I go to either once a week or every other week. Um, I just got back on medication, so I'm trying to prioritize my wellness so that I can help other people who don't have that support and they're struggling out there
Yeah.
on their own, just like I was. And I remember how hard and brutal that felt. And if I could just like help lift the burden for one other person,
Yeah.
then I feel like I've been
Exactly,
effective.
exactly.
And I have to
Because
take
other
care of
people are
myself to
relying
do
on
that.
us. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My turn, I guess. I also stay on top of Jordan about her wellness. Like,
Ooh, yes,
don't
she
ask
does.
me,
You need
don't ask
accountability
if you want
partners.
accountability. I'm not. If I'm the person, but I'm also not the person because I'm really gonna stay on top of you. So I know Jordan sometimes be sick of me, but I'd be like, ma'am,
We need
I'm not
that.
playing with you.
Takia will
So
drag me,
We
y'all.
need it.
Yes.
um, so I think the question was, how do I take care of
That's okay.
myself? What was
Yeah.
the
So how
question?
do
I
you
feel
kind
like,
of like continue to
was
pay
that
attention
it?
to your body, take care of yourself, and recognize if you are starting to have those suicidal ideations?
Um, yeah. So the thing that I have noticed when I start getting to that place, there are typically warning signs like isolation, um, maybe not eating, not going to my 5 a.m. workout classes. Everybody know Kia loves those 5 a.m. workout classes. I'm not doing these things. And what I have noticed is that when I stop doing all of the wellness things that help me to feel well, I go back faster. Like it's very hard to get out of. It's even harder. I'm not saying when I'm struggling, it's like, okay, yes, it's hard. But if I'm not getting enough rest, because everybody know I'm really big on my bedtime, my sleep hygiene. If I'm not doing all the things that help me to feel well, then I'm going to be in trouble. And the thing is, what keeps me going or motivated is living out my God-given purpose. I believe I was not born to just pay bills and die. Black people die by suicide too, and everything that I am doing in within the organization and outside of the organization is going to live beyond me. I don't have children, and I don't want children, and
Yeah.
so this is part of my legacy. And so I am very motivated, and I get up every morning um, with so much anticipation and a sense of gratitude that God spared my life and allowed me to do this work. As Jordan mentioned, is so personal. And so that's part of the thing that keeps me going. And even the things that people tell me, the emails that I get, the DMs that I get, they're like, no one's really talking about this, having this suicide conversation. There are women 80 years old, 60 years old, like, oh, I heard you on the radio, or I saw you on this news outlet, or lady said I'm 80
Oh,
years old.
wow.
I'm struggling with depression. Can you help me find a
Wow.
therapist? Absolutely, ma'am. Let's do that. Let's help you find a therapist. So the things that people tell me,
Mhm.
it just shows me that this is not in vain, and my
Yes.
life is
Well,
also
cheers to both of
is
you
not in
ladies for
vain.
living in your purpose and not seeing suicide as like the final result. Because if you had, we may not have Black people die by suicide too today. So we appreciate you. We appreciate your work. Tell us about what y'all have coming up and how we can stay connected with y'all.
Child, we got a whole list, Jordan, right? So I'll try to think. If I miss anything, Jordan, just jump in. So September 17th, we have a webinar that we're hosting. It's called Beyond Success, addressing suicide among executives, public figures, and high achievers. And so we have the amazing and
Nice.
esteemed Dr. Rita Walker, who will be on the panel. It will be streamed on our YouTube channel as well as LinkedIn as well. It will stream on my personal LinkedIn. And so we have that September 17th, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have that happening. September 21st, we are partnering with Councilwoman Belle Gay out of Prince George's County, Maryland, and we will be at their It's Not Okay Mental Health Symposium speaking on a conference, and we'll have a speaking on a panel at the conference or the symposium. We'll have a resource table there. We'll have some giveaways. September 24th, we will be in the city of Annapolis, and we are partnering with the city of Annapolis and their No Harm gun violence initiative, gun violence prevention initiative, and their anti-dope movement initiative. And we will be hosting a community workshop in the city of Annapolis on how do you recognize the signs of suicide, best ways to support someone, where resources are available. And then we're ending the month September 28th with the kickback, taking steps to prevent suicide in the Black community. So come with your sneaker A game. I know everybody have their sneaker gala. Ours a brunch. We brunching, and we have DJ Tone. It'll be in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Empanada Lady restaurant right near the Inner Harbor. And so tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite, or you could go to our Instagram, or go to our website and you can get tickets there too. So
Yes.
we have a very busy September.
Oh.
And September's my birthday. So
birthday.
shout out to me, okay?
Happy birthday. Y'all are gonna be busy. So all of these dates are on your
Thank
website.
you.
Okay.
All of the dates are so they will be on our Instagram. Right now we only have the kickback.
Okay.
But if
All
you
right,
go to
so
our
we'll
Instagram,
definitely
you'll see
stay
everything.
updated with that. Y'all sent me the
Yep.
invite for the 28th, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Dr. Chanda, come to
I
come in the building.
I think I'm free that weekend, the 28th. So yeah, I just gotta put it in my calendar so it's solidified. But no,
No.
if it's not
I
in the
know how that
calendar,
goes.
it's not gonna happen. But no.
Right.
Oh, I definitely
Make sure
will.
you
I
come with your
definitely
sneaker A
will.
game though, because we'll have some giveaways and stuff too. We got some really good ones like airline,
Okay.
massage gift cards. I'm telling y'all, we gonna play some games. It's gonna be a
I'm here
real
for
nice
that.
time.
You
So make sure
ladies
y'all
are
come.
doing the work. You are amazing examples of what it looks like to be able to go through the storm and come out at the end of the rainbow and to offer healing to everybody else amongst their journeys. So it's amazing. I am so grateful that we bumped into each other on the way to Essence last year. Yes. So any final thoughts before we wrap?
Jordan?
Oh man. I just want to say to anyone who is struggling and you're looking for resources, come to our website, www.blackpeoplediebysuicide2.org. Like, you don't have to do this by yourself. And if there's any way that we can support you, if you're looking for something, send us an email. We'll definitely try to point you in the right direction. We're really doing this because we want Black people to have A1 mental wellness. Like, you do not have to do this by yourself. We're here as a resource. We're here to support you.
Period.
So come check us out.
Yeah,
And
come
if
to
you know
one of our
anybody who's
support, or
struggling,
just come to one of
yes,
our support groups. Right? We have people
yes.
come from all over
Yes.
Canada, Florida, Texas.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. Well,
Mhm.
congratulations on the amazing success of your organization. Make sure you guys stay tuned with everything that they have going on at your website and your Instagram. Right? Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Mhm.
And make sure that you guys tune in next
Yes.
week to the Paging Dr. Shanda show, available on all audio platforms as well as various streaming channels. And don't forget, y'all, you have the power to create the emotions that you want to experience. God bless. See y'all next week.